Students actually do get kicked out for putting a collage on Facebook, for example. Students do actually get found of racial harassment without a hearing for publicly reading a book.
Hi, I'm Matt Welch, Editor-in-Chief of Reason Magazine, and I'm here today with Greg Lukianoff, and I pronounced that really badly, who is the president of the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education. I get it right?
FIRE.
FIRE. FIRE is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. Tell the kids back home exactly what FIRE has done, what was the genesis behind it, and what you have accomplished in this decade.
Well, FIRE defends basic liberties on college campuses, freedom of speech most of all, but also due process, religious liberty, freedom of association, for example. And before coming to FIRE, I'm a constitutional lawyer. I had absolutely no idea how bad it was. I knew it was a little bit bad on college campuses. I knew that political correctness was a problem. I didn't understand that I'd suddenly go into a domain where students would actually be learning these terrible lessons and in some cases destroying, in other cases burning other students' newspapers if they didn't like their opinions. Over the years, we've actually, we're a relatively small organization, but, and I was, I think, something like the 5th employee. But over the years, we've actually been able to have victories at 150 colleges, or 150 victories at colleges around the country, and we've affected a total of about 2.5 million students.
When you say the sort of speech code thing came out of the sort of political correctness of 1980s and 1990s, I guess many people might have thought that we'd gone beyond that. What are some broad categories of sort of malfeasance that you see in universities?
Well, definitely speech codes are everywhere still, and this is and the reason America can be forgiven for thinking that these were things of the past, because not only were they condemned in the early 90s, not even did the president condemn them, they lost every single court challenge. From 1989 to 1995, it was just one after the other, all lost in court. So everybody said, well, thank goodness that's over. Political correctness and speech codes are over. 77% of colleges, of public colleges that are bound by the First Amendment, maintain laughably unconstitutional codes. And so far, we've been proven right in the courts. There have been 11 challenges to codes that FIRE has deemed red light codes. And every single one of those codes, 100%, have either been rescinded by the university or beaten in court. And you don't really have a 100% success rate in litigation. But meanwhile, the speech codes are bad enough because they're teaching students that if you say the wrong thing, you can be punished. And that's a terrible lesson to be teaching people in a democracy. They're also, again, against the law. But I feel like the worst things that are happening is that students are learning by example, which is even more powerful. And we have what we call our red alert schools. There are 5 schools across the country that have so consistently and stubbornly violated either student or faculty members' rights that we've actually, we take out an ad in U.S. News and World Reports to basically say, don't go to these schools.
What's the next frontier? What's the greatest challenge that you're working on right now to sort of roll this entrenched system back?
Well, we try to take every possible approach. I think the most important thing is to get the word out there that this stuff is really happening, and students actually do get kicked out for putting a collage on Facebook, for example. Students do actually get found of racial harassment without a hearing for publicly reading a book. Professors do get in trouble for using epithets in class in order to criticize the epithet. These things are really amazing, and when you hear them, I think there's a tendency for people who don't have any idea this is going on to go, oh, that's hyperbole. But we document all of these things on our website. So the biggest thing that we have to do is overcome some amount of, some idea that essentially, sure, maybe there's a problem on college campuses, but it's no big deal. It's a really big deal, and you'd be amazed at the things you can get in trouble for.
And they can find that website at
thefire.org.
At thefire.org. And speaking of which, I hope you've enjoyed this at the website of Reason TV. For Reason TV, I am Matt Welch. Thank you.